Hello, konnichiwa, hola everyone. Welcome to the stream. My name is Leo. I'm your resident vampire singer and professional simp, and I'm tired. No surprises here. Hi, welcome. How are you guys doing? Oh, give me a second. I suddenly got like very EP. And I don't know why. Actually, I think the eye bags might be fitting for this one, just for a little bit. Okay, let me just click off. You took away the funky music. I don't want music that says bullshit every now and then, looping. Or do you mean the waiting screen? The green screen is nice, but we need something chiller for whenever we're in the room, so Let me just. Why am I like here? Hold on. Why are we here? Just to suffer. Studio. Move to the left. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. I don't remember the rest of the song. The waiting screen. Hell yeah, I'm studying right now, so I won't be talking much. I will be listening. I always will. Hey Con, no problem. Thank you for being here. So today, I think we're gonna go over some of the questions that you guys left me on the Discord server that I was supposed to answer. You know, the good thing about this model is that because my camera is so freaking high, it actually forces me to like not shrimp, because otherwise my mouth is not moving. Like if I do this, which is how I usually like talk into the mic, the camera doesn't like capture my mouth, so I have to do this in order to for the mouth to like get captured. So I guess that's a good thing and a bad thing, because I'm not used to it and my back is gonna hurt later because of that. Anyway, so I was supposed to also, if I do end up talking, remind me to go back to studying. Okay, will do, sir. Go back to studying. What was he saying? Yeah, so you guys left me some questions in the Discord server that I was supposed to answer last time during the debut stream, but because we were running out of time, I wasn't able to. So we're gonna do that now, and maybe get a little bit more in depth with the slides if you guys want. I still have them here, so because I also rushed through those in order to be able to like finish on time. So yeah, now let me just pull up my Discord. Discord server. Also, if you haven't joined the Discord server, what are you doing? Join the Discord server. Join the Discord server. Join the Discord server. It's great. Anyway, my I have a new phone case because the one that I used to have broke, and now hold on, and now it's like too heavy and it keeps like going down instead of like staying up, and I'm having issues. Where's the, here it is. Also, can you guys hear the fan? I have my fan off because it on, not off. I have my fan on because it's pretty hot in here, and if I turn it off, I start to melt. Oh, it's gonna be hard to read chat and look at the questions at the same time. Congrats on 100 subs, only 200 away from the drunk stream. Yeah, we're only 200 away now from the drunk stream. Yata. Not looking forward to that. I'm gonna have to buy stuff for whenever it happens. Okay, perfect. Great. So, questions. What's my favorite animal? Depends on what type of animal are we talking about. If we're talking about like in general, doesn't matter if you can domesticate it or not, I would be between otters and wolves. I really like wolves. I've always liked wolves, but otters are so cute. Otters are really cute. If we're talking about like what kind of animal I like, I would like to be, then wolves. And if we're talking about like domestic animals, I like dogs. Cats are cute and I really like them, but I don't feel like I would be suitable to take care of one of them because I'm very like I'm like a cat myself. I'm very particular about my things and my space. and I feel like a cat doesn't care about that. Like the dog will adapt to you, but the cat is just like, because it has the same mentality that the whole world is theirs and theirs alone, and that you're just living in it, and they can do whatever they want. They just go around and do things and break stuff and scratch, and I don't think I would be able to take care of a cat. So that's why. I think those are my three answers. Yes. Depending on the context, it can be either wolves or otters, and dogs. But if we're talking in general, probably wolves. Maybe we could put otters as second favorite just because they're very cute. But I've always liked wolves. I don't know why. I don't have an explanation. I didn't know about palace cats until UConn. Also, go back to studying. I didn't know about palace cats until you, and I mean they're pretty fluffy, but I don't think I would have one. I don't know. Like, they're cute, but I like otters better and wolves better. You know what I mean? And probably not, because yours are palace cats, but okay, so next question. Do you live on your own? If not, how do you sing without bothering others? Nope. Oh, model, what are you doing? I just looked down. Hold on. Do you live on your own or wait, okay, so no, I don't live on my own. I live with other people in the same house, and my doggo. How do I sing without bothering others? I just don't sing at night, or at least I try not to. Sometimes the neighbors on the weekends get like very loud, so there are weekends where I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna do whatever I want, and I'm recording at like 12 a.m. But even then, because there are other people in the same house, I can't really go full out. So whenever I do record at night, it's like I do like the chiller songs where I don't have to like belt anything or sing very loud, where I can just like go at like a kind of like a speaking volume level, so that way I'm not bothering the other people in the house if they're probably already asleep, because I'm usually the one that goes to sleep the latest. So yep. And in general, like during the day, I just record. I close my window so they don't hear me as much. I bet they probably hear me because I have a lot of houses around. When it comes to the neighbors, the people I live with don't care, so it's fine. I'm shrimping again because my mouth is not moving. Yeah, the people I live with don't really care, so that's fine. The neighbors have never complained though, so, but that's also, I think, because I constantly hear them scream, so I guess they don't feel like they can really complain. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, my neighbors not really complain, so I just close the window, close my door, and that's pretty much it. And then I put up my boxes to put my mic on them and record, and that's pretty much it. That's how I record. I used to record more often in the past, but now because I'm very busy, I like it has to be like a very specific day where I do nothing else but record and edit. So I also don't do it frequently right now, but when summer break comes, oh boy, they're probably gonna hate me more. Anyway, let me just look at chat, because I can't look at chat when I'm looking at the questions. Also, this is me looking down, that's why like I look down and my eyes close for some reason, even though I did. It probably has to do something with the webcam, because I don't have like a phone to track my model with, So it's probably about that. But me. Otters are cute, and I have never seen them in the same area as seals, so I cannot comment on that. Also, Khan, go back to studying. Didn't you say that you were gonna? Anyway, what's the other question? I don't understand this question. Confused. What do you mean? Do you use bicycles, or is it the death wish like Connor implies? What was this conversation? I know you guys were having some discussion about it on the server, but what was this conversation? What do you mean by, like, are they a death wish? Why are bicycles a death wish? Yeah, the room is new. It was debuted during the 2.0. Hello, Metallic Fruit. The people I live with don't like singing, so that sucks. Why do they not like singing? That is odd to me. There's nothing wrong with singing. I would understand if, I don't know, maybe like you're really off pitch and it's very loud. But even then, it's like, I don't know, people sing for fun. We're like, well, huh? Connor says you can't cycle anywhere because it's just cars. Oh yeah, like you can. Okay, I understand the question now. You can cycle, but it doesn't guarantee that you won't get run over. You know, like people on cars don't really care. Sometimes cyclists are not very they're not very prudent. They feel like because they're the vulnerable, you know, like the most vulnerable person on the road, they should be able to do whatever they want. But they are supposed to have, in most places, not in all of them, in most places they are supposed to have like a track for themselves where cars are not supposed to like drive on. But it really depends on the person. It can go either way, that either the one on the bicycle doesn't really care and just goes like on the normal highway, and then of course an accident is gonna happen. Or sometimes cars don't care, and if the cycle like track is big enough, they're just gonna go there even though they're not supposed to go there. So it really depends. It's really a gamble on your life if you decide to cycle. But it can be this, like the same can be said for motorcycles. So me. So it is a death wish. But then again, even if you walk on the street, it's death wish. Oftentimes, people don't care. So yeah, it is kind of a death wish. Connors, I'm typing one sentence and leaving. It's never guaranteed to be safe, but kind of really sound like you want to die if you drive a bicycle because 6-lane. I'm very phlegmy today for some reason. Well, if the problem is that if you live in a very like urbanized city where a lot of people have cars, it is pretty, like, you can do it, but it's more safe to do it on the sidewalk. But then you're what's the word for it? I forget. But then you're bothering like people that should be walking on the sidewalk, you know, like you're being an inconvenience. That's the word I was looking for the people who are supposed to walk on the sidewalk. So it is not very practical, but a lot of people do use bicycles because they don't have cars. But a lot of people have cars, so it's very complicated. Like that's why they are supposed to have like their own lane, but a lot of people don't respect that on both sides. So that's why a lot of accidents happen, and it's basically like a death wish. Because even motorcycles sometimes have their own lanes, and they don't care, and they just get through the cars, and because they need to go faster. I don't know. Like for food delivery people, I get it, because oftentimes if they don't deliver it in time, they get like some of, I think they do that less and less now, but at least back in the day they used to like cut it out of their paychecks, and that's why a lot of people got into accidents working like that. But I mean, living it is really in itself a death wish in a way, because anything could happen, just like what we saw in in the latest game we played, A Date with Death, where the protagonist had like a piano almost fall over her head, or like she almost burst in flames because the coffee shop burst in flames, and other things that I don't remember that she very luckily survived, because apparently she was life itself. You know? So in a way, yes. What if everyone flew jetpacks for everyone? Then everyone would like start bumping into each other and have malfunctions and plummet down to their deaths. I would not put it past them. Like two people being dumb and maybe like sort of like how sometimes bus drivers start racing each other because I don't know, they have like a big they have like an unspoken rivalry for some reason, and they're always like trying to race each other, and then that's why sometimes they like accidentally get into like a bus crash, or they collide on like with each other and things, because I don't know, I guess they want to see like whose dick is bigger. I don't know. Anyway, so that's why I wouldn't put past like people to be like, oh look, I'm much better than you, and they start like racing or doing dumb things, and then accidentally colliding it onto each other, and then that causing a malfunction on the jetpack, and then both of them plummeting down to their deaths, which they would have coming, but they could also affect people who were not a part of the feud. That maybe, I don't know, because of the collision they go flying backwards and accidentally knock someone else over, and their jetpack malfunctions too, and thus they also plummet down to their death. You know? That's why also like flying cars are an interesting concept, could be good, but then we would still have traffic but on the air, and then car crashes on the air that would be more fatal, because if the car stops flying, then you just plummet down to earth and die. Yeah, humanity's weird. Anyway, look at chat. Fun fact, at one point in Ohio, there were only 2 cars in the whole state. They somehow managed to crash into each other. See, like, I'm not saying that that's ever gonna disappear. There's always gonna be people who are like either assholes or not very careful in the way they drive, so there's gonna be an accident whether it involves other people or not. But in this case, in the going back to the bicycle case, it really depends on what kind of city you live in. If there are a lot of cars, then it's better if you refrain from using the bicycle to get like to from one place to another, to commute. But I understand that sometimes that's people's only option. So at the very least, the safest thing you can do is like try to stick to the rules that apply to you when you're driving a bicycle on the road. So you avoid like getting into an accident. If the other person like violated the rules and all of that, and was the one that got you into the accident, then that's depending on whether you have insurance or not, a little bit easier to deal with, because the other person is at fault. unless they run away, and now you have to also find the person, and they probably won't do anything. It really depends on where you live. I mean, fun fact, as a kid I almost got run over by a car while I was on a bicycle, even though the whole street was closed because we were like back where I grew up. They on Sundays they would close like a whole was it an avenue? Yeah, like they closed the whole avenue from like 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. so people could like ride bicycles on it, you know, just for fun. Like families go there and have fun with their kids and all of that, or just for maybe some Sunday exercise stuff. You could take your own bicycle, or you could rent one for free. All that. I guess it's not rent, it's more like borrow one. Yeah, you could borrow one for free and all that. And I was just minding my business. I had my MP3. I remember I had my MP3 on. Life was great. So I was riding my bicycle, but there was this dude who, I don't know if he was very angry because he had to get somewhere or something, that he didn't care that the whole avenue was supposed to be closed. And so at like it's not a parallel, like an adjacent oh wait, is it adjacent? I don't even know the words anymore. I mean, bicycles are great if you have the stamina for them. I don't. I once rode a bicycle through the whole bridge of Brooklyn and the Manhattan Bridge as well, and I was dying, so never again. I did used to use my bicycle more often back when I was younger, but I don't go out of my house anymore, so meh. Hold on, I'm looking up something. Bridges suck because you go up. This one was like flat. Like, yes, you had to go up to get up there, but it was like a long way flat. It was actually like a section where bicycles go every day. Like, I remember, I don't remember if it was the Manhattan Bridge or something, but I had like a train that would go on the side, and this lane where only bicycles like are supposed to like go. Also, sometimes like there are bicycle lanes and people just go walking on them, and you have to like, I hate that. I'm gonna talk about it in a second. Hold on. Let me just finish looking what I was looking up. Seconds. Are those the lines that I'm talking about? The ones that like no. Well, the point is that it was like the adjacent street, like going back to me as a kid being on a bicycle. Let me just pull up chat again because it closed, because I was looking. I don't remember the name of the line, but it's not parallel because parallels never like cross each other. Cycle for a day. Oh my gosh. No. My friend hit a car while riding his bike, went flying off his bike, and hit the ground so hard his helmet split in half. Well, at least the helmet split and not his head. Also, a lot of people don't wear helmets when they're riding either bikes or bicycles. So, good on your friend for actually doing it. But anyway, going back to the story, it was like, you know, like you're on the street, and then there's one that like to your right like crosses the street, right? So you technically should do a stop, so the other people like there are like lights for this, but because the whole avenue is closed, they don't work, because you're supposed to be able to just like ride on the whole avenue like without a problem, without cars getting like crossing the road. So and there are supposed to be like transit like police, so like whenever they maybe, because you know, maybe there are people who don't know that they close the whole avenue for the day, or at least for like from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. because it's also like not the most important avenue back where I live, but it is one of the important ones where a lot of people go like pass by. So maybe there's, I don't know, someone from outside of the city that doesn't know that this is a thing every Sunday, so it makes sense, so they just redirect them like, hey, the avenue is closed, you need to go back and try to get to where you're going, like through some other street or some other path, you know. And so but there are people who are just like assholes and don't, it's just that they don't care, they know but they don't care, and they cross it anyways. And so there was actually a transit police there, but they did it, but the driver just didn't care. And so I was about to cross the street just minding my own business because I was listening to music while I was riding my bike, and then I just in time managed to like pull the brakes, and I just felt the car pass right in front, like almost like it almost hit the wheel, like the front wheel of my bike. Had I like, but I managed to brake in time. So had I not seen him, I would have just collided against him because he just went by. So, you know. So I was right, it is adjacent. Hello, Nick Nitro. Hi, welcome. It's going good. We're answering some questions and talking about how dangerous, depending on your city, it is to be riding a bike on the street. So I was right in saying adjacent then. Sometimes I'm not sure if I'm like using the correct words. So that's why I ask. Adjacent. But yeah, the point is that one time, like, it's the street, like the whole avenue is supposed to be closed for bikes for bicycles to be able to like just, you know, go free. But no, there's an asshole who decides like, hey, I don't care, and just goes without a care in the world. And even if they might run someone over, and I bet if they had ran me over, they would have just continued and moved on with their day. So, you know, the funny thing is also that while that happened, I was listening to a song that I don't remember the name of anymore, but I remember that like the music video of that song had a car crash. So it was very ironic. But anyway, I almost got into a crash like that with my car, but I blame my brother for that one. Why? Was he bothering you and you like took your attention away from the front 2 seconds and almost ran someone over? Or something? Oh. I hit the pop filter. Back when I would ride bikes, I loved mountain bikes and going off-road, so instead of taking the bike lanes, I'd cut up through places zooming. I always blame Sean. Was it Stand by Eminem by chance? Shot in the Dark. I don't think so. I think it was, I think Miley Cyrus was in the video, but she was not the one singing. I don't remember which song was it, but it was not an Eminem song. I would remember. I would remember if it was an Eminem song. I don't think it was an Eminem song, but I really don't remember which song was it. Maybe I need to look through my MP3 sometime. I still have it somewhere and see if I find it, but I don't remember which song was it. But yeah, going off-road is fun in places where you like can. In cities it's but then again, like I was saying, back to my rant, now that I finished the story, there are places that are supposed to be for like bikes only, like bicycles only. So I don't get why people are walking on the lane. when you could get hit by a bike that's going at like full speed because it's like it's going downhill? Like, why would you do that? Are you like I get so worked up about this because I almost ran over someone, I almost ran over like a child, well, because of that. It was a bike lane and it was downhill, and for some reason this family just decided that they were gonna walk on it, and that there was a sign there that said bikes only. Because I don't know, maybe you could get run over by a bike, and that is a nasty accident. And then they just like, and they weren't even holding the child's hand, they just had him on the side, and so the child will run off. And like I remember I was going down at full speed, and I saw him, and I was like, oh fuck, and I just pulled the brakes like as hard as I can, and then I almost fall off the bike, and then the kid gets scared, and then they like scold him, and I'm like, dude, this is an 8-year-old. You should be looking like you should be taking care of him. What are you doing? You know, like, huh? And then you scold the child when you're the one at fault for not looking at like where your child is, and that the fact that this lane is bikes only. What are you doing? Same thing for a guy, like a guy who, I don't know if he was drunk or he was just being silly, because he was like walking with his friends on the lane, and then I think he was a teenager actually, and then they just like moved to the side just when I had like see, even my model doesn't believe it, like it's freaking out. Just when I had seen them from a distance, but again it was a downhill lane, so I was going at like, I don't think I was going full speed that time, because I don't think I would have been able to pull that one off, but it was like still very high speed. So I saw them from a distance, and I had my dad like riding his own bike behind me, so it's not like I could just stop. So I remember like there was like a gap between like the side of the lane and them, and like the friend group, and so I just was like, okay, I'm just gonna like surround them so I don't like, you know, crash into them. And so the moment I like tried to like surround, like do like a curve as to not hit them, the guy just moves to the side, and I have to like crouch so I don't like accidentally get knocked over by him. And I think my dad had to do the same, and it was like, dude, it says bikes only, what are you doing? Anyway, I get pretty worked up about that because it's like, it's bikes only for a reason. And then if I run you over, I'm gonna get blamed, even though you're the one at fault for being in a bike only lane. God. Anyway, my brother is the worst passenger ever. He tries to blast Ken. Oh God. The complaining about random stuff I can handle. Kanye West on the... Your brother is dead to me. I cannot. I'm not even gonna... No, I refuse to entertain the thought. Anyway, my younger brother and I have the hardest time. Even when we both were in our 20s, he loved rap, I loved rock, so it was always Tupac versus AC/DC in the car. I mean, that's fair. I just can't. Not Kanye. Not Kanye. I wanted fun music. His music was serious. I mean, understandable. Growing up, I had to deal just with the fact that my parents didn't like my music, so I've had to always listen to theirs. I still kind of do. This is why my family only bike on forest trails. Like, it's supposed to be a park. But I hate it. Even then, I feel like in the forest you can get like accidentally run into someone. But then again, I don't know. I never been like, no, I've been to forests, but like not like bike riding to a forest. I don't know. Do you still ride bicycles often? No. It's been years since I last went on the bike ride. And I remember that the last time I did it was just because I had my little cousins over, and they always like going to the park for some reason, and I'm just a gremlin who likes to stay inside most of the time. So they like the whole family went, and they were like, you have to come too. And I'm like, I don't want to, but you have to come. Okay, sure, whatever. And so I went, and I had my bike, and so I went on my own on the bike only lane. Oh, actually, that was the time where I almost ran over the child. Now that I think about it, it had been a while, so there was a point on the uphill where I just had to get off the bike and walk, because I could not anymore. It had been such a long time since I had last like rode my bike that I just couldn't anymore. And so I just took it up the rest of the uphill lane, walking like I was walking on the side, like the bike was on the lane, but I was walking on the grass, so I wouldn't like, you know, inconvenience the other people that were riding the hill. And so when I got to the middle point, like where I wasn't going up anymore, but I wasn't going down yet, I just got on the bike again and started riding again until I got to the downhill section, and then just let go. I like the downhill because I can just let go, unless there are people walking on the lane. But yeah, and it's just like, whee! It's fun. I miss it, but I just don't have the time to just... Sundays are usually my quote-unquote day off, but going to the bike lane requires me to like go early, because then the later it gets, the more people are there, and it's messier. But I just don't have the energy. And also I just, because it's my quote-unquote day off, I use it to work on other things or to start assignments ahead, so I'm not like rushing and panicking during the week as much, because even then sometimes it doesn't matter. I still somehow run out of time and have to like speed through things. Oh, same. They hate new music, so I don't listen to it around them, and also the reason I don't sing it in the house. I don't think my parents ever minded like me singing. They would just like, they wouldn't tell me like, no, you can't put your music on, but they would just be like, okay. And so I learned to just not put it on blast. There was a time where I would just put like my original Broadway cast recordings on the stereo and and dress up and pretend that I was either Elphaba, or later on when I got to see the Frozen musical on Broadway before the Panini hit and they closed it down. I would put on a cape and a crown that I have somewhere and pretend to be Elsa. I was not a child anymore, by the way. I mean, obviously, but I really liked doing that. That was my theater kid, I guess, part of the day. But usually when I have like shows, rehearsals are on the weekends, because it's when most people can go to rehearsal, because we all do different things. So I'm stripping again. So yeah, even sometimes Sundays are not off because when I have shows, especially when I have shows, because I have to be on rehearsal for most of the day. The worst part about him is that he constantly tries to convince me that no, this only is really good, trust me. This is really good, trust me. The story behind it is insane. Meanwhile, I'm driving home at 11 p.m. How old is your brother? I mean, you're... Okay, anyone that's younger than me, in my eyes, it's like a baby. They're young and inexperienced in the world. So I imagine your brother is way younger. And that upsets me. Because he's in his deep era. Where, no man, listen. There is a lot of meaning behind this. Just trust me, bro. And I'm very edgy and cool. And no one understands me. No one is like me and all of that. I feel like he's in that era, and because I mean I went through that era. I'm still on my edgy era, but I'm not trying to like pretend that I'm like unique and interesting. I know that it's a little bit cringe sometimes, but that's fine because it's fun. But you know. Oh, he's confused his age. Well, then I don't know what to say because confused is not as edgy. Your brother sounds like my sister, Connor. And go back to studying. Leo, you have more activities right now than most people have in their lives. You have the time. What? You know, my downtime is watching recently. There was this anime that premiered, this ABO anime that premiered that turns out was a manga that I didn't know existed, but I'm very glad I know now. Called Tadaima Okaeri. That is very wholesome and very cute. And that's my downtime on Mondays, and that's it. But maybe when I feel it. I mean, I want to get out of college because I really don't like. I don't want to say hate because people think hate is a. I use hate very like deliberately. I don't think it's a very strong word, but people say it's a very strong word. So let's say that I very much dislike college. So I just want to get out. It's not that I want to like, oh yeah, be a full. I mean, technically I'm already an adult, but I like full-grown adult with life, you know, more life responsibilities, I guess. But I just don't. I want to get out of there as soon as I can. If everything goes according to plan, January will be the month where I'm like, see ya. I'm never coming back. But what was he saying? Oh yeah, maybe then I would like to think that I'll have more time, but probably not. I will just be busy doing other things like work and stuff, like more work. Where hopefully they actually pay me a decent amount, but yeah. I'll just probably get busy with something else. Whenever I'm like, yeah, as soon as I finish this, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be less busy. I just start doing something else. I never really had an edgy face. Somehow I doubt that. I think you're on your edgy face right now. Just it's not as strong as others. Because edgy faces can have different levels. You put... Oh. It's not... I mean, yeah, but no. But it was just a general thing. Like, you posted on Instagram the other day that you were going to pick up a new hobby. I wasn't... I didn't have anything specific in mind, but I know that whenever I, like, get some more free time, I'm like... Time to fill it up with something else because I don't know. I have a work mentality. So free time is an illusion. I mean, I call watching anime free time because it really, you're not doing it. I mean, in my case at least, when I'm... Hold on, my dog wants to get out of the room. He got sick of being here. It's probably because it's really hot in here. So. What was he saying? Yeah, at least in my case, when I watch anime, I just, like, my brain turns off. I'm not doing anything else. It's like just anime time. I actually went to see the Spy Family movie the other day, like the White Code. Was it? It was last week. I was very stressed before that because I was having trouble with my animation that I was doing, that I think I showed you guys on the server. Yeah, I showed you guys on the server. The animation that I was doing on Blender, I was really stressed about it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and try to enjoy the movie because I had like... my mind was constantly reeling about it. I was like, I need to do this, I need to do that, and then I don't know how to do this, and all of that. And so I went to see the movie, and I just, like, I had such a fun time that my brain just completely turned off. And I was laughing so hard on the cinema. It was great. So for me, that's downtime. So free time is not an illusion. It's just very hard to come by when you're a workaholic. Yeah. Because then you're constantly thinking like, okay, and after this I have to go back and do this and that, and then I have to do this other thing, and then I have to finish this other thing, and all of that. So yeah. Hold on. By the way, bicycles are part of life here. You need one for daily commute, especially as a child. A child would just get run over where I'm from. Also, side note, my friends also hate my brother. They heard him talking to me while we were playing a game. Now they constantly joke about jumping him. Your poor brother. Like, understandable. But I don't have a counter. I just understandable. My edgy face was just not as visible to the outside. I had no one understands me thing but never show that. Like, exactly. Sometimes you don't show it. It doesn't come out as often. Or at all. But you have it. Like, the edgy face is always there. Just depends on the person whether they actually show it or not. And how much they show it. Yeah, summer weather is awful. I mean, we're still in spring. We're not even near summer yet, but I'm already dying here. I hate it. It didn't used to be as hot in here, like in prior years. Again, I don't know what like Fahrenheit degrees are, but when it comes to Celsius, I think we were like 35 yesterday. And back in my day, it used to be like 27 would already be too hot. I know in some other places that's nothing, but at least here it's just like how whenever I go somewhere else where it's like the weather is usually like hotter, they're at like 24 degrees and they're like freezing, and I'm like, dude, that's not freezing. Freezing is like -4 here at least, because it doesn't snow here, but it can get pretty cold. Even the like cold water comes out hot. And I'm just baffled that this is a thing now, and I hate it. My edgy face was when I was in middle school. I do not claim depression. Yeah, I also had my edgy face in middle school. I was chiller than during high school. I still had a little bit left of it, but not at all what I had in middle school. I do get embarrassed when I remember something. But yeah, I also had my edgy face in like middle school. I haven't been to a cinema in years. Why? Cinema is great. That's like my favorite place to be whenever I have to go outside. I like going to the cinema a lot. I think it's amazing. I would like to go by myself one day. But, you know. But I love going to the cinema. It's great. Exactly, Gunnar. That thing is not part of me and it doesn't exist in my memories. Be God! You shall not pass. Yeah, 35 degrees. I would rather it be raining here. It's just... It's not even humid heat. It's just dry heat. It's dry. Everything is dry. If I'm not sweating, then the air of my fan feels hot. Like it's awful. I don't like it. It's 24 here and I'm sweating in my normal clothes. Well, I would love to be at 24 degrees. That would be more decent. But no. Right now it's like 30. So that's why I have the fan on. Because, you know, I'm dying. Yeah, rain is perfect. I would love it for it to rain here. It would be great. I would not hate spring as much. And then this year I started to get allergies. And I'm like, why? I used to not have allergies and this year I just got allergies for some reason. Which was when I was like very like congested during streams. Like my nose was clogged up. And I was like, I want to sneeze but I can't. That was when I was having like full on allergy and I was like, what is going on? The last movie I saw was Godzilla -1. The problem is that it's not warm enough for the ground to dry yet, so the ground becomes a swamp. Still way better. For me at least. I don't mind the ground with being wet because everything is concrete here. So I don't have to worry about mud. But yeah, I wish it were raining. Wasn't that a recent one? What is Godzilla -1? I've never watched any Godzilla movies, by the way. Let me just look it up. Godzilla -1. Oh, it's last year's. Oh, I remember this. Oh yeah, I remember this when it came out. I mean, I know a lot of people liked it, but Godzilla has just never caught my attention. Just like how I've never watched any King Kong movies either. Oh, 20 degrees Celsius is nice. It's very close to my perfect temperature, which is 18 degrees. Not too hot, not too cold, just like a nice breeze in the middle. Man, I wish it were like that right now. It usually gets like not as cold as in places like where it snows, but it usually also gets pretty cold here during the winters. And up until last year, I used to not have a heater, so I would just like freeze. But last year it hit pretty hard, so I finally bought one. Best purchase of my life, although very expensive because, you know, the bills came a lot higher the following month. But yeah. But yeah, I haven't watched any Godzilla movie, so but that one was like back in December or November, or was it the beginning of the year? I don't remember when it released here, because I know in Japan it released by like back in November. 28. Oh, then it sucks. No, it's almost like the heat that is like right now, and no. Awful. 28. It's awful. Ugh. Anyway, but yeah, I think in Japan it released like back in November, so I don't remember when it released here. But I mean, the last time I went to the cinema was last Sunday. I went to see The Fall Guy. It was great. I really liked it. Again, it's mostly because I have a friend who likes to go to the cinema very often, and he's the type of person who just goes and watches whatever is on the like whatever is on there. So he often goes like, let's go watch this one, let's go watch this other one, which one of these do you want to watch, and all of that. I don't have like money to go to the cinema that often, so sometimes either he pays or I'm just like, dude, I can't. But he has been taking me out to the cinema lately, and so we went to see Fall Guy on Sunday, and then Thursday I think it was when we went to see Spy Family, and then the week prior we went to see something else. I'm not remembering. Oh, the movie Robot Dreams, which gave me an existential crisis and I did not like. And the week prior to that we went to see a movie that I wanted to see. I mean, I wanted to see Spy Family as well, but it was another movie that I was like, I can't go because I have no one to go with, and I would love to go by myself, but I can't. And then and he was like, I would be down to watch it. I haven't seen the anime, but if you want. It was the Bunny Girl Senpai movies. And I loved it. It was great. And I don't remember if we went to the cinema. No, I think the week prior to that, we just had like, he had like a barbecue-ish party at his house, and I just went because he invited me, and I got to see some of my other friends, and it was nice. And I think he wants to go to the cinema again this week because there's like a re-release of Star Wars Episode 1, but I'm not really feeling for it. Like, so yeah. The Bunny Girl Senpai one. The name is pretty long in like the anime's name is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. It is a very good anime. 100% recommend. But I know 0 people who have watched it, at least like amongst my friends. So I was just like, I'm probably not gonna see it because, you know, there's no one to watch it with, and I can't go alone for reasons. And then my friend said, oh, you want to go watch it? We could totally go watch it. I haven't watched the anime, but I'm down for it. And I was like, okay. And they actually gave some special tickets, like to commemorate the event. And he gave me his, and so I have both because it was like 2 movies in one. And it was great, and I was very surprised by the amount of males that were in the screening. A lot of men. I was not expecting, like, back when it released, I think it was not as popular. Nowadays it's more popular, but I didn't think it was that popular because the whole like the place was full. Like the how do you call it? Hold on. Word that I'm forgetting. Well, yeah, the cinema. It's just the word cinema. Okay. Yeah, the entire room was packed. And I think I only saw like other 3 girls there. And everyone else was just men. So yeah. It was interesting to see. Anyway, let me pull chat back up. High as it goes here is 38. Oh, nope. Hate it. Anything above 30 is dead for me. Yep. 30 degrees for a couple of days counts as a heat wave here. Why can't you go by yourself? It's a cultural thing. People look at you weird. And it's not that I mind. It's more let's say that my parents are not very fond of the idea. So it's kind of like I could, but I'm technically not allowed to. In a way, it's a weird situation, but I do want to go one day by myself. It's been my dream since I was 18 to go to the cinema alone, and I have not been able to do that. And it's been years since I turned 18. A lot of years. Anyway. Yeah, Bunny Girl Senpai is amazing. Like it's shortened as Bunny Girl Senpai, the anime, but it is really good. I really like it. It's very interesting, and the premise, like the description that they gave it, it does not do it a lot of justice, but it is really good. Wait, Phantom Menace is getting it's getting a re-release. Here it's like a thing that they do every couple of years. I remember when I was younger, even like they still did a re-release. I don't know why they do that, but it's getting a re-release here at least. So he wants to go because he's a massive Star Wars fan. But no, but like people who go watch the movies are like a continuation to the anime and a previous movie. So like it's like if you were to just go watch a new season. And the title of the movies did not include the Bunny Girl Senpai. I think I have my tickets right here. Hold on. The first one was Rascal does not dream of his sister venturing out, and the second is Rascal does not dream of a knapsack kid. So they no longer have the Bunny Girl Senpai thing. If you go to see these movies, you need to have watched the anime and a previous in a movie that came after the anime that is a continuation to the anime. So you can't, like, unless you're like my friend who's like, yes, I'm going with you because you have no one else to go with, and I really don't mind not having any context. You can just fill me into the details later. Which I don't think most of the people there had that mentality. They just went because they already knew the original source. They already knew what it was about, and it's not about the Bunny Girl thing. Like, the Bunny Girl thing has a reason, and it has nothing to do with, like, if you watch the anime just because of that, then yeah, you're gonna get a surprise that it's not about that, and it has a deeper meaning than that, like the whole bunny suit, and it's only used for like 2 episodes, and then that's it, and it's a 12 episode anime, or 13, I don't remember. So, you know, but if you're going to that movie, to those movies, because they were 2 movies, you already know what you're getting yourself into, and it has nothing to do with the bunny girl suit. So I'm still very surprised. Anyway. Like, it is understand. It's not something weird. I was just very shocked by the fact that I saw like 3 females there, and that was it. And I was the one dragging my male friend to this movie. And the others were dragging their girlfriends. I don't know. Burn culture. Okay, here's the plan. You're going to go, then pretend that your friend got hit by a bus, got sick of something else. Then tell everyone that you just didn't want to waste your money. Okay. The reason why that doesn't work is because things are a little not too safe where I live. So I always have someone drop me off. Like, I could just take the bus and go to the cinema, but my parents don't feel really safe with that. So whenever I have to go out to those kind of things, they always drop me off. And so they wait until my friend shows up. Unless they're in a hurry, which is very rare, they wait until my friend shows up. And oftentimes they're already there. So yeah, I understand it. It's not just because it's a weird thing, because yes, even my my extended family, whenever I tell like I want to go alone, it's like, no, you go to the cinema with people, you don't go by yourself. Like, why would you go by yourself? And I'm like, because I want to watch a movie and I don't want to give details to other. I don't want to have to explain or tell my friend, hey, you need to watch Evangelion, like the full anime plus the other 3 movies in a month, so you can watch with me the last one, because otherwise you're gonna be very confused. And then for them to not do that and then just do it like 2 days prior and finishing the movie on their phone like 10 minutes before the movie starts. So, you know, it's not like I've not been to places by myself before, but whenever they can, they want to avoid it. So, they do that. So yeah, but it's part, like, I'm not, that's why I said, like, I don't really care about the burn culture. Personally, I don't get why people are so afraid to go by themselves, when I think it could be a really great experience. But it's just something that I can't do because my environment does not present itself as like it does not present it as a very viable option. But I would love to go by myself someday. Maybe when I live farther away from my family, that would be an option, but who knows. They can binge it fast. Yeah. Yeah, she was like, okay, sure. And then I was like, you have a month. Same thing with the Kaguya-sama movie. When the movie came out, like, I told her a month prior, hey, have you watched this? She was like, no. You really should. Also, do you want to go see the movie with me? If so, you have a month to catch up on 3 seasons. She did it in a week. Like the week prior. But back when we went to see like the final Evangelion movie, the 3.0 plus 1.0, or however it's called, I told her, you have a month to watch the entirety of Evangelion, so you can go watch this thing with me, because I have no one else to go with and I really want to go see it. And they also gave like commemoration tickets, and I was like, I need to watch this. I had already seen it before in other places, but I wanted to see it in the cinema because it was amazing. But 10 minutes before the movie started, she was still finishing the 3.0 movie, and I was like, and then she was like, okay, fill me in whatever I'm missing. And I'm like, oh yeah, so this happened and this and that, and then the movie started, and I'm like, I'm gonna shut up now, we talk about it later. But I was like, you had a month, what happened? How do I convince someone to watch Evangelion? They don't want to. Why do they not want to? Is it because it's long? Is it because they think it's very complicated? Is it because they maybe started watching it and they didn't like it? Depends on the reason. You can buy those things at a store, Connor. Question should be if she knows how to use them. I had back when I was in high school, I had a classmate that used to have a teaser, so I kind of know how to use those. I don't know where to get spray pepper here. I know how to punch someone in the clavicle to like destroy their airway, and that can give me some time to run, but other than that, maybe I can use a pen and just like really stick it in. I don't know. Go for the leg. Hello, Millie Angel. Welcome. We're not having a very wholesome conversation right now. Okay, obtain all of them and arm yourself to the teeth. Maybe that's a viable option. What is the neighbor doing? Oh god. But yeah. I mean, I'm not really too worried about it. It's just the people around me are more worried about it than I probably am. So that's why I often like don't have the option. But yeah. One day though. Soon-ish. I'll try it. Unless I convince them to like just drop me off and be like, hey, I'll call you whenever you need to pick me up, it's fine. I guess I could just like one day be like, I'm gonna take the bus, bye. Or something, I don't know. One day. Or steal their kneecaps. Yeah, that's also a viable option. Although, maybe I should just break them and run. Yeah, I just came and heard I could punch someone. I was like, oh, we're talking about self-defense. Sorry. Yeah, like, I know how to punch someone in the throat, like, in a way to destroy their airway, but other than that, I don't really know how to use weapons. Pinks work great. Go for the neck with them. Okay. Neck. Nice. Just plunge at it like... Be gone. It was all self-defense. I remember I was talking about something like this with Sodu on her chat one day, but it was a long time ago. Huh. Anyway. What were we talking about earlier? How did we drift to this topic? I remember we were talking about bicycles and then we just ended up here. I was just saying about like how many movies I've been to this last few weeks, and then we just went to self-defense. I can go rabbit, my brothers taught me. Yeah. Well, I don't have siblings, so no one taught me. Well, my dad is the one who taught me how to go for the throat. One day. Funnily enough, he never wanted me to take martial arts when I was younger. I don't know why. I always wanted to do karate. And then later on in life, I wanted to do... My fan disconnected, so I'm like trying to plug it in again. There we go. Oh god, it's very hot in here. What was I saying? Oh yeah. It's a road of topics, exactly. Our ability to just rail off, it's great. My dad is the one that taught me, but he never wanted me to take like... I think later on I wanted to try to get jujutsu lessons, but he was like, no, I'd rather you did it. I never knew why. My brothers were my punching bag. Your poor brothers. I mean, good practice, but your poor brothers. There's no spaces for... Yeah, if there is no space for a bicycle, then don't ride one. You're just trying to get killed at that point. But if there are, just try to take as many precautions as you can. I know how to draw a punch, kick, knife-ish, and use some sort of staff. I was always good at the staff part for some reason. Man, I wish. Maybe one day when I can afford lessons for myself. Maybe. I've just always like drifted to a lot of things in life. Like I've wanted to do karate. I did ballet for a while when I was younger. The only reason why I quit my dancing lessons was because I had a tear on my knee, on the muscle of my knee, like the back muscle of my left knee. I tore it, and then during a jazz lesson, out of everything, and my knee cracked as well. I think I've talked about this before. I've also done painting lessons. I never done drawing lessons, but I would like to because I have zero basics of anatomy. So I always just try my best. What else have I done? The baking is self-taught. Most of my drawing is self-taught. I've done obviously singing lessons. I haven't done them in a while because I scheduling issues with my old coach. I do right now like my instruments, violin and guitar. I used to do piano lessons. I've been wanting to take ice skating lessons for the longest time. I just didn't have any available, and now that I have them, I don't have the money to pay them. What else? I mean, I sat on a plastic chair on stream for 2 years. Come on. Yeet. I know some katas and can just hit hard with them. Ooh. Staff sounds fun indeed. Again, I wanted to do jujutsu at some point. There was something else, but I don't remember right now. Oh, and I do theater, so, you know. Hello, Grayson, welcome. Perhaps more silly example with me and my cousins. Me and my husband will play with toy lightsabers. I was ironically able to fight 2 of them at once. Not much indoor rings, sadly. Yeah, actually, there used to be one a long time ago, and then they got rid of it because they couldn't afford it. But now they opened another one, and I was actually the first client in a funny twist of events. And I had a teacher just for myself for like half an hour. That one I went by myself. It's one of the few things that I've been able to do by myself, where they actually like dropped me off, and they were like, be careful, and I was like, yeah, sure. And then I was the only person there upon opening. Because I was told that there was gonna be like a show or something, and they didn't do any of that. It had been done in a private setting days prior, but no, they didn't tell me that. So I was just there by myself. And I was their first client, and I've never returned. I haven't been back since, more like. Out of like, I haven't had the time, but I really want to. But I think it's the only rink in all town, so I feel that. What else? I think that's pretty much it, as far as I remember right now. But yeah. I was just looking at something. But yeah, confused. Why does your friend not want to watch Evangelion? Everyone should watch Evangelion. Watch Evangelion if you haven't yet. You need to watch Evangelion. Hold on, where's my model? You need... Listen. Listen. Everyone should watch Evangelion at some point and have the wonderful existential crisis that it gives you. It's amazing. Watch Evangelion. It's great. Wrong toggle. I can't see my number pad. Hold on. Oh, wait. Wait, why can I... Hello? Uh-oh, I can't take it. What? I can't take it off. That's why it's not responding. What happened? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Did I? Oh, that's why. Okay. I accidentally deactivated my numpad. There we go. Bye, Millie. Thank you for stopping by. Maybe I think he thinks it's weird. It is kind of odd when you get to like the later episodes, but here's the thing. You have to understand two things. Let me just go back to my normal size. Hold on. Wait, Con, you don't know what Evangelion is? You don't know what Evangelion is? Anyway, so he never really explained, but he refuses to start. Then it's a previous problem. If you think it's really weird, I cannot blame them, because especially when you get to the movies, it gets a little bit odd. And sometimes are harder to grasp than others, but it's not rocket science. I think people have hyped it up way too much about like how you're not going to understand anything and it's impossible to understand and no one really knows what the theme is or the message or anything. And so I'm gonna talk about my experience. I watched it just because I wanted to watch like some classic animes that well, not everyone, but a lot of people have watched, and I had never watched, like how I watched back in the day Full Metal Alchemist, because I had not watched that and everyone and their mother had, and they were all saying it was the greatest thing ever. Turns out, yeah, it is a pretty great anime. It is really amazing. I love it so much, and it's worth sitting through like 60 episodes or 50 something. I don't remember how many there were, but there were a lot, and they were great. But Evangelion, first of all, it's not that long. It's only 25 episodes, and if you really don't want to, you don't have to watch the movies, because at the end of the day, one of them is just like a continuation from another point of view, and the other four are retelling of the original, with more budget, obviously. So you have to take into account the fact that it's not as complicated as people make it out to be. I think people are just either they just like to exaggerate for some reason, or they really didn't get it back when they watched it the first time, but when you rewatch it, it's like even more understandable. But then again, I've only watched it once, and I didn't find it that hard to understand the meaning behind everything, especially during the last episode. And you also have to take into account the fact that they ran out of budget, and that's why the last episode is so messy and the last section of the anime is so rushed. And yet somehow a lot of people still manage to fall in love with Kaworu, which says something. But yeah, you have to take into account a lot of things, and that the author doesn't like giving you like straight answers. But even then, I think it's pretty easy to understand what he was going for with the story. It was never about the mechas, it's what's behind all of that. It was never about the lore. Of course you needed to have the lore to engage people, but it's not about that at the end of the day. So you don't really, I think the part that people find hard to understand is the whole lore section of the anime. But when you really think about it, and the way they rushed it at the end because they were running out of budget, clearly the mechas were not the message they were trying to convey, or the main thing they were trying to like show, I guess, or like they were not the main thing in the story really. They just were a part of it so you could get entertained while you were watching, in a way, like to keep you more entertained. Because if we just go philosophical mode throughout the whole series, then yeah, some people are gonna be like and go away, you know. But even then, like the way it's done is very good, I feel. They just had to rush really hard at the end, and so a lot of things were left unanswered about like the console and all of that weird thing, and how the world exactly works. So the world building is messy because it was very rushed at the end, but the story itself, the meaning, the message is not that hard to understand. I think personally that's what people are like usually struggle with, the fact that you don't get all the answers in the lore part of the story because of how rushed it was. But then you get the movies that are a retelling, and still things are not, because then Hideaki Anno decided to just go full in the vague aspects of Evangelion, and you kind of get an understanding of how the world works, but at the end of the day it's still not the main thing in Evangelion. The main thing in Evangelion is the meaning behind everything, and there are things that are never explained, and he's never gonna explain because he likes being edgy like that. And I love him for it, but it's still pretty understandable, and at the end of the day everyone can draw their own conclusions to what the story means to them in their lives. And I think that's pretty great, actually, because at the end of the day I think the author is mostly talking about himself and some of his life experiences, but you can really apply any meaning you want to it in your life or the things you've experienced, and it works. And I think that's pretty amazing. I only know the theme song, and that so like I want, when I graduate college, don't panic, I say the G word, but not college. I want everyone to be like the final scene, like omedetou. I want that. After my suffering, I want that. I was very confused about the retelling movie because I didn't know it was just a retelling. Yeah, I pretty much had, like, I didn't know either when I watched the movies, but I grasped a little bit like oh, this is just a retelling in the second one because of how things start to change. So yeah, the anime is one canon and the movies are another one. So in reality, to get the full anime like story, technically you need to watch the anime, like the 25 episodes, and the movie, I forget what it's called. It's not Rebirth. I think Rebirth is just a retelling of the anime. It's I forget the name of it, but there's a movie that goes right after the anime that it's like explains better what happened outside in the world, because the ending of the anime is just from like Shinji's mind, but the movie shows you what happened in the outside world while Shinji was having his whole epiphany. So it helps you, it ends the story there. And then the other 4 movies are a retelling of that original story, and they are like their own canon, and also give you, I feel, a better closure than the original did. Rush ending is one of my favorite, but here's the thing, I say it's rushed because they skip some things like at the end, like they really like the pace. Suddenly I like after like episode 20 something, it just does this, and then you're like you're not understanding a lot of what's going on, because suddenly they just like crank the dial to like 2 times speed. But the ending is pretty, how do I say it, it's like it's not something that you're not gonna understand. You might not understand how we got to this point, just because all of a sudden we're like in a rush to and living in like a world ending situation all of a sudden, when the angels weren't, they were already a menace and a threat to humanity, but all of a sudden the world is kind of ending in a way for some reason. Like their threat level got cranked up like that, but you still are able to understand what is going on in a way, like at least from Shinji's perspective, because Shinji is the protagonist, by the way. Shinji's living through his own epiphany through all the whole thing, and that's the only thing they focus on. Like they forget everything else and they just focus on that at the end. So you're gonna be like confused as to what happened outside, but then again, that's what the movie that follows that ending is about, to show you what was going on outside while Shinji was having his epiphany. But in the anime, that they're not gonna pull you in different directions, they're just gonna focus you on what they want to tell you, on what they want you to pay attention to in the story, in that rush ending, if that makes sense. Yeah, you don't notice the rush, you just only went like, oh, something happened. I don't know what exactly, but something happened. Game of Thrones is a whole different thing, because it's not like the authors here didn't know how to end the story. It's just that they didn't have the money to finish it. Like it was back in the day, I don't think it was like a very popular anime. It just got fame over time, and a lot of people got very pissed off at the ending, because they were like, what happened to the Eva then? Because it was not the ending they were expecting. But later on, it just gained a lot of fame, and that's why they were able to do that epilogue movie later on. And then as the years went by, they went for the retelling. And there's also the manga, which tells you the story in a different way, which I haven't read, but Confused has. And I've heard it's also a pretty good way of telling the same story. It's just a retelling in manga form. And yeah, like it's just that there wasn't really like enough budget nor episodes to do what they wanted at the end of the day. So they had to, it's like how they had to rush the Owl House's final season to just 3 specials, because Disney wanted it off the table as soon as possible, and so they had to scramble to do whatever they could. It's kind of like that. So it was not really the people behind the story's fault. It's more like there was, for X or Y reasons, there was just not enough to properly end it, and so they had to do what they could. Where Asuka, yeah, Asuka fights everything in that movie, in the one that I'm saying that it's like after the anime. The name, I just don't remember the name of the movie, but it's that one. Yeah, you can also still watch it for the mecha. It still has fun fights and all of that. That's why I say, like, the main goal is obviously not that when you really think about it, but it is a part of it to keep you entertained. So you can just watch it for that if you want. But I feel like that's why a lot of people get disappointed, because they go into it expecting just mecha, and then the ending is not satisfying on that part of the thing, of the like the story. In Game of Thrones, it's just that the books haven't. I don't think at this point the author is ever gonna finish them, and so they didn't really have a story to finish. They just did whatever, and they fumbled it real hard. I never watched Game of Thrones, but I just know what everyone has said, that it was awful and terrible, and everyone hates it. But it's different. I don't think it's the same as Game of Thrones. I said you watch the anime first for the emotional impact, and then read the manga to let it sink in. I mean, the same thing happened to Steven Universe, and I have said a lot about that ending. Do you not like the ending of Steven Universe? I mean, it was also rushed because of, you know, Cartoon Network canceling it, but they had an epilogue series for that, and the movie. I know White Diamond wasn't as explored as people wanted it to be, but I thought it was okay. Also, how long has it been since it ended? It's been 4 years already. God! Or at least the epilogue series, because that finished back in 2020. Same with Tangled the series. Tangled the series is also a really great story that could have had more episodes, but Disney axed it alongside a bunch of other series, just like they did with the Owl House. I was very sad. And it also had like a very rushed ending, but it was still pretty decent. I liked it, at least. But yeah, I think everyone should watch Evangelion. You don't necessarily have to watch everything in the franchise, but it is good to like give you different perspectives on the story and the characters. And you can, or at least in my case, I've left with like different understandings of things and lessons learned, I guess, from each of them. So I really like it. I just haven't read the manga. It's the only thing that I'm missing, because I'm missing volumes 1 and 4. I have the rest of the manga, but I have not been able to find volumes 1 and 4. They're always sold out in MCH. Yeah, you can just watch the main series and that's fine. No, the creator told him how the books were going to end. They just wanted to get on to a new project, and instead of giving it to someone else, they rushed it so they can move on. Oh, well, that's way worse. Yeah, nothing similar to Evangelion. But yeah, then that's their own fault. They were dumbasses. Oh yeah, it does have psychological horror. It's great. I really love Evangelion. Again, I went into it with this idea because everyone is always talking so like cryptically about it, and like, oh, you're not gonna understand anything, but it's great and all of that. I just went like, again, because I just wanted to watch like a classical series, classic animes that I hadn't watched, that the most of the public love, just to like get my own opinion on them and be like, oh yeah, I like that, or like it wasn't that great, or more like it's not for me, but I understand why people like it, or things like that. That's the only reason why I watched it, and I went in with the mindset that I was not going to get anything. Like, I was really just gonna be just sitting there and go along for the ride, but I was not gonna understand anything from the story, and I was just gonna be there like watching, you know. I went full on with that mindset that I was just not gonna understand anything at all.
And then by the end of it, I had really enjoyed it, and I was like, it's not that deep. I think people are just over exaggerating it. So that's why I tell people, like, it's not as complicated as other people make it out to be, because I know that there are people out there who don't watch it because of that. And I just don't think it's that deep. I mean, it's not that complicated to understand the story and the message. Now, if you want to get into the movies, then those are like a little bit more cryptic than the anime, like the retelling movies. Sometimes there are things that you're like, I don't understand this, but I found out that after rewatching them a second time, I was able to get a little better grasp on some concepts. And everyone has always different interpretations, and I think Hideaki Anno has said that he has purposely like done that. That's why he hasn't like confirmed nor denied a lot of things that he gets asked, because he wants it to be a story where people can draw their own meaning and to the story or the characters, and just, you know, stick with that. Not like tell them, no, you're wrong, and this is the actual thing. I really don't like the... Yeah, you should rewatch it. It's great. I really didn't like the ending of Steven Universe much at all. No payoff to much at all. I don't believe Steven Universe future is real. It never happened. But it was good! And had a lot of existential crisis. What? I wasn't like... I didn't like it like a whole... Like, I wasn't super into it, but I liked how it ended. I thought it was good. I hate goodbye, so that's... It was obvious. I was obviously gonna be upset at that, but I thought it was good. It's that deep, but it doesn't have to be. And the funniest part is that since the last season was so bad, their other deal fell through, so they played themselves. Oh my god. The Game of Thrones ones? Jeez. Damn. My ice house was broken and... Oh no. Oh, the screech in the background was like a car passing by. I have like a street right, like a... It's not beside my house. There are other 2 houses in between, but you can hear whenever someone like just drives really fast by. So that was a car. But yeah, I thought, like, I don't know, the 5th season, I think it was my favorite from Steven Universe. I remember being... I haven't rewatched it since, honestly. Like, I'm not someone who usually rewatches things. Unless it's like very specific movies, like the Despicable Me movies or Frozen. It's very rare. Like, when I was a child, yes, I would rewatch a lot of movies. But as an adult, I am not... even books, I don't... It's very... I think I've only reread 1 out of all the books I have on my bookshelf. I'm not really someone who goes back and re-experiences like media. I don't know why. It's just something that I don't do often. It has to be like, for example, if it's a series, it's a very specific episode and I just watch like a very specific scene and that's it. That is the type of rewatching I do. I don't go back and rewatch full things. But I remember really liking season 5 of Steven Universe. And White Diamond I found very menacing back then. And then I don't even remember how old I was. But then it ended and I was like, I need a season 6, and then that never got confirmed. And then they announced the movie and I thought the movie was pretty great. And then Future happened, and it wasn't what I was expecting exactly, but I liked the themes that it touched on because it was a little more... They played a little more with that than they did in the original series, especially because Steven was now like a full teenager. I don't remember if I cried, but I do remember feeling pretty satisfied with it. I don't know. In my case, at least, I did feel like I got what I wanted out of the series. Interesting. Every very interesting. In Future, barely got shown, and a bunch of worthless stuff got full episode. Why was there a full episode about the Lappy sisters? Was there? I genuinely don't remember. I genuinely don't remember Lappy sisters. Huh, maybe I need to rewatch that. I don't remember that. I just remember, I guess spoilers. Amethyst having another existential crisis. Pearl finding her new place in the world. With Bismuth, which was an interesting dynamic. Lapis? I barely remember Lapis in Future, if I'm being honest. I know she was around because she's always with Peridot, but I don't remember much about it. I remember more like Steven's slow meltdown after... Spoilers. After shattering... What was her name? I forgot her name. The orange one. I forgot her name, but I really don't remember that. And I like after that I remember his slow meltdown and then him wanting to find solace in Connie, and thinking that by being Stabani he will feel full, but she didn't want that kind of relationship yet, like a marriage. And that being Stabani would not fill that void that he was feeling inside, because he was having an existential crisis on who he was as a person now that the world was saved. Yes, I guess I can agree that they didn't really explore Homeworld a whole lot like they probably should have. But then again, I just think that's because of how little time they had left. I mean, there again, like just like in Owl House, there were a lot of things that they could not explore that they totally should have, but they just couldn't because they didn't have the episodes to do it, nor the runtime. I'm pretty sure probably the same thing happened to Rebecca Sugar. After the whole wedding episode. So I don't know. Never got rewatching either. I already know what's going to happen. All thing is gone. I do get a little bit of it, because you get to re-experience some things and it's like, oh, it's nice, it's nostalgic. I like it. For example, I always like rewatching Despicable Me 2 whenever they put it back on Netflix, because it was a huge part of my life. But I don't know, series, I guess it's because they take a lot of time, and why not try to experience something new if I have the time to watch one rather than rewatch the entirety of it. I think that's my approach to it. It's not so much, as like, oh, I already know what's going to happen, so it's not gonna be special. It's more about like, if I have the time, I would rather find a new story rather than spend all this time on a thing that I already know and love. Not so much because I'm not gonna feel like anything, because I do get emotions. I do relieve some of the excitement from the first time, even if it's not the same. But I feel like, I don't know, there are so many great stories out there. Why not try to experience more rather than redo or rewatch this one that I already love? I don't know. Same with books and fan fiction. But yeah, I don't know. Funnily enough, with music, I'm the total opposite. It's very rare for me to go out of what I already know I like. It is a weird thing. With music, I work differently for some reason. But yeah, I guess I just don't remember a lot of things from Steven Universe then. It's been a while. Again, like the series ended like back in 2020. And filler episodes are always a problem, I feel, in a lot of cartoons, because they need to have them even if they don't want to sometimes. I think, I don't know if they have to meet certain quotas or something, but I remember them having to add some filler episodes that they didn't necessarily want to have, but they had to have them to be able to have like it's the thing about the networks. Now that I remember, it's a thing about the networks. Like, filler episodes exist because they need to have loopable episodes. Episodes that they can just put on and people can watch without having any context. So they can just like leave it there, like leave the TV there. Now with streaming, you can afford to do less of that because of the fact that you can just watch one after the other. Yeah, you know, like release a full season and just watch one after the other and the other, and not have to catch it randomly on the network on TV. I think it has a lot to, yeah, I remember now that I think it has a lot to do with that. That's why filler episodes exist, because they need to have at least some episodes that they can just put on at any random time, so people can just watch them and not need to have any context, and that puts them like off. Because for example, how many times, well, you guys are younger, so I don't know if you had that, but at least when I was younger, when I was growing up, I had a lot of times where I would just turn on the TV and that there would be a special, like the second half of a special, of which I never watched the first half because they would never air it when I was watching the TV, you know? Where I would just be like, oh, I don't know what's going on, but apparently this is a part 2 of something. I don't know if I want to watch it. That's how I got spoiled the big reveal of Gravity Falls. I just turned on the TV one day. I wasn't even like watching a lot of TV at that point because I was already like older. But I remember for some reason I turned on Disney Channel that one time and I watched that episode. And I was like, oh, that's neat. And so when I finally watched the full series back to back, because Hannah is a huge fan of that series and she was like, you need to watch it, it's great. I was not I was very I already knew that, like the entirety of season 1 I already knew this was going to happen. I didn't know it was supposed to be a big reveal because I just randomly watched it on TV that one time. So I think it has a lot to do with that. The fact that because like previously a lot of cartoons were made and some are still being made for like TV, they need to have those episodes so that kind of thing doesn't happen as often, because then you lose audience because the kid is gonna be like, well, I don't know what's going on, so I'm just gonna change the channel for now because I don't understand what's happening. And like same thing, I would oftentimes watch part 1s and never get the resolution because they never aired part 2 when I was watching. That's why as an adult I had to rewatch the entirety of Teen Titans because not only was it great, and I'm very sad that it got cancelled, but there were a lot of things that I didn't know happened because I never got to see the resolution of said episodes because they never aired when I was watching TV. Also, Steven turning into a monster was cool, but it didn't last long enough. It was big climax and less than less. Yeah, I agree, but I guess it had to do with the fact that they only had one more episode before they had to do the send-off. Again, it's really a very messy thing when you're a creator and you have to abide by whatever the network gives you. So I do get what you're saying. It can be very frustrating. Like, I understand now where you're coming from, because then I'm also realizing I don't remember a lot of things. But I also understand the other side of some of the creators that actually wanted to like properly do send-offs, but they weren't able to do exactly what they wanted because the networks rushed them to just end it. So yeah. Not What He Seems? I don't know what that is. Is that another show? Hold on, let me open the door for my doggo because he wants to get in. Hi. Are you happy now? Okay, anyway. Okay, yeah, he laid down. I feared for a second that he was gonna start barking for attention. Not What He Seems is the best episode of Gravity Falls by a mile. I don't remember the names of the episodes. Let me look it up. Because I did watch the entirety of it. But by the end of it, I remember just being like, it's a good show, but I didn't like it as much as people hyped it up for me. I guess it was a little bit of a... Number one, I watched it at a time where the fandom has long since moved on. A lot of the fandom, at least. Like, it's not as talked about anymore, I feel. Or at least in my sphere. It's not as talked about, so there's not a lot of hype around it. And also maybe it is a little bit of what's the name of the game? You guys are very upset at me. Before Your Eyes. Maybe it was a bit of a Before Your Eyes situation where people hyped it up so much to me that it didn't meet expectations, because I already had a like basis idea of what the show was about, and I also had knowledge that I shouldn't have had of that reveal, and so it felt very not flat, but it just wasn't as impactful for me, I guess. Not What He Seems. The fact that you haven't watched most of these Confused is just a testament to your age, by the way. Oh yeah, this is from... Yeah, I remember this episode. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I watched that on TV randomly. Yeah, I watched that one. Yeah. That's the one that I caught on TV randomly one day, and then years later when I watched the full series, I was like, "Oh, I already knew this." Yeah. Yeah. So that's why exactly this exact reaction is why filler episodes exist, because things like that were very common back then. when cable was the main way of like watching TV and cartoons and all of that. Like I remember from, well, I didn't feel like it was terrible because I wasn't a fan of the series back then, so I don't feel the impact. But I understand completely. Like if you told me that you watched the season 2 finale of Tangled, like as a random episode, I would freak out and be like, no, because the experience then is ruined. And that's exactly what happened to me with Gravity Falls. I didn't feel like it was like such a big deal because again, I was not a part of the fandom. It's like how I got spoiled with Attack on Titan by accident back when season 1 was the only thing available. I watched a meme and that spoiled me a huge ass reveal. And I was like, oh. But because I was already a fan of the series, that one did hurt. Because I was like, I did not know this, and I would have liked to find out by reading or watching the season 2, which didn't come out until several years later, like after that. And that's actually the reason why I started reading the manga, because I didn't want to get spoiled. So that's why I became a manga reader on that one, and finished it when the manga finished. Because I accidentally threw a meme, got spoiled. So that's why I didn't feel like it was such a big, because again, I didn't know it was such a big deal back when I watched it until I did like watch the full series. I was like, oh, I was not supposed to know this. This was supposed to be the super big reveal of the series, and now I don't feel anything. Because I already knew that. I was like, when are we gonna get to the point? Like, what is this? You know? Because season 1 felt very filler to me. Even though it was good, like it was not bad. I was like, where is the action? Because I already knew about that character, but I didn't know I wasn't supposed to know. You know? I was around when they aired. I saw that they were on the TV, but my parents were at the time. They gave me half an hour of TV before dinner when nothing aired. Oh, that is very bad. I had free reign with the TV when I was a kid. There was nothing else. I had my movies, I had my DVDs, so I could just watch them whenever. And when we got cable, as long as it were like the kids channels, like Disney and Cartoon Network, and even then Cartoon Network, my mom didn't like that much, so she would restrict that one a little bit. But Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and Jetix, back when Jetix existed before it became Disney XD, which I got very upset about. Jetix and what was the other one? Discovery Kids. As long as it were any of those, I was able to have free reign. So, and I would often just finish my homework earlier just to be able to sit down and watch until bedtime. And sometimes I would just fall asleep to the TV. So I had more screen time on that. So I watch a lot of shows. That's different. Gravity Falls has a smaller episodes that still have a bit of plot. It's the most important episode of the whole show. I know. But you see now why there like filler episodes exist in this type of series. It's not so much about like, oh yeah, we're just gonna put them in because it's because of that. It's because the network needs to have those episodes, so they don't do that. That's why they exist. There was a whole misdirection campaign done to throw people off after the crew learned someone had found out the truth. That's how important it was, and you had it ruined. Yeah, I remember looking, watching videos about that, and I was like, huh, interesting. Oh yeah, I think the creator actually posted like a scene that never existed of the old guy, the crazy dude from the village. Um, that's my dog, by the way. He's playing by himself. Okay, I hope he calms down. Or not. But yeah, I remember watching a lot of videos that cover that after the fact, right? After I finished the series. So it is pretty funny that happened, but it's just a thing that was pretty common back then. Oh god, hold on. There we go. Done a few clips from a real coming episode, then posted the deleted and tweet say that he was pissed that the internet did the rest. Yeah, I do remember that, but yeah, so yeah, that's why. That was a very interesting tangent. What other shows did I watch back then? I watched Kids Next Door. I watched Teen Titans. I watched Dragon Ball, obviously. I watched a little bit of Pokemon, not a whole lot. Oh, actually, I remember watching Bakugan and never, like, there was a huge reveal at some, like, I don't remember if it was season 3 or 4, and I never watched it after that because they stopped airing it where I watched it after that like big reveal, and I've never known what happened after that. I need to look it up. I need to watch the entirety of Bakugan and see if it was if it's as good as I remember. I love Bakugan. What else did I watch? The Imaginary Friends Foster Mansion, I think that's the name of it. Lazy Town. That was not a cartoon, but it was still a kids show. I don't remember what else I watched. I remember watching the Cusco series on Disney back then. I didn't watch Gumball. I was already older when Gumball was airing. Same with regular show. Same with Adventure Time. I was already transitioning out of TV when Adventure Time started airing. Did I already mention Kids Next Door? I think I did. Dexter. There was one about a robot girl. Robot teenager or something. A lot of Power Rangers. Puka. Why throws brick? Regular show just was not a thing that I was interested. Like I think when I started like becoming uninterested on the TV shows that Cartoon Network was offering. Yeah, My Life as a Teenage Robot. There we go. Was around the time Chowder was airing. I think that was the point where I started to transition off TV and started becoming more like an online person through DeviantArt and Tumblr and a little bit of YouTube here and there. So yeah, I don't remember watching regular show at all. And by the time Gumball started airing, I didn't watch TV anymore. Actually the fun fact is that the way I started watching Ladybug as an older person, it was because I remember, I think it was in high school, I got like an assignment where I had to like just turn on the TV and watch a show. I don't remember what the point of the assignment was, but I just had to watch a show, whatever I found on the TV. So I turned on Disney Channel because I wanted to see what was the programming nowadays, or well, back then, what was the programming, like the actual programming then. And I just happened to watch an episode of Ladybug and I liked it. Oh yeah, Danny Phantom and Fairly Odd Parents. Yeah, I watched those. Oh, Jimmy Neutron as well. I was very big on that. I used to have a toy of the dog, the robot dog. Yeah, Ladybug, my favorite show, which I haven't finished watching because I love it so much. I don't want it to end. It's totally not because the latest episode that I watched gave me a lot of cringe and I had to stop watching. Not at all. Hold on, I'm getting a call. There we go. It was my mom asking me about something. I did watch SpongeBob. Avatar was one of the series that I would just catch every now and then. I recently started like casually watching it on Netflix. I never watched the full thing. But I would randomly sometimes catch it and I enjoyed it. I just wasn't as into it because it wouldn't air on like my usual time slot where I would watch TV a whole lot. There was something else. Oh, the Powerpuff Girls. I was also very big on those. Even the anime version that they did, which was like Powerpuff Girls Z or something. Ben 10 as well, the original one. How have you watched Avatar but not the rest of the things we're talking about? I didn't watch a whole lot of Invader Sim. I remember it again being on like at very odd times. Whenever I had absolutely nothing else to watch, I would watch Billy and Mandy, or what was the one, that Cow Chicken something. I never really liked them, but if there was nothing else on TV, I would just leave them on. I rewatched so many Disney Channel original movies due to like none of the shows that I liked being on. I was already a little bit older, but I did watch a lot of Phineas and Ferb. I think the live action shows I watched most were on either Disney or Nickelodeon. So I remember watching iCarly for some time. and VTuberES and the Net School Survival. I don't remember the rest of the title. And no, I have not watched Over the Garden Wall, but I know that a lot of people like it a whole lot, and that it's apparently, it has like inspirations from like the 9 Hells or something from the Divine Comedy, something like that. Like it has like a lot of references to that, I think. What else did I watch? Johnny something, I remember. Oh, the what was it? Jack the Samurai something show. I already know how it ends though. Yeah, Samurai Jack. I watched Samurai Jack as well. That one was really good. And Robot Boy as well. I remember watching a little bit of the the Adventures of Flapjack, something like that. I didn't really like Chowder. Johnny Test is the thing I was talking about. Kim Possible. Phineas and Ferb. The Rugrats for a little bit as well. Oh, Laszlo's Camp. Camp Laszlo. Oh, Hey Arnold as well. Yeah, Cow Chicken. A lot of Scooby-Doo as well. Is there a Cuphead series? Huh. Oh, Tough Puppy as well. Substitutes, Mucha Lucha. I'm like, oh, the Farm as well. Ed, and Eddie. Oh, the Cowardly Dog, Courage, I think is his name. A little bit of Ninja Turtles as well. There was a lot. No, not Robot Chicken. Yeah, Johnny Test. Huh, I didn't know Cuphead had a show. Maybe I'll watch it sometime. But anyway, guys, I need to end it here because I have a doctor's appointment later today. Yeah, back at the barnyard, that one. I have a doctor's appointment later today, and I didn't forget, but I kind of lost track of time, so I really need to end now to get ready for that. Tomorrow we have a stream at my later time slot. We're gonna be practicing the fight with Sans because I haven't had the time to practice at all off stream. So yeah, we're gonna practice that a little bit, and on Thursday we're gonna be trying a little bit of like the whole instrument practice stream that I said that I wanted to start trying out. So yeah, tomorrow is Undertale, and Thursday is a little bit of violin. See how that works. See if I like it as well, and if you guys like it. So now, Connor, you can go back to work. And with that, thanks so much for coming. Thanks so much for being here and giving me a couple of your hours. I hope you had fun. This was a very interesting talk that I didn't expect to derail up to this point, but I like it. And now I have a couple of recommendations to watch. So yeah, anyway, I will see you tomorrow. Okay? Bye! Bye guys. Bye bye.